Hello and welcome to the Rugby Sevens Rollercoaster. We're here to take you on the ups, the downs, the twists, the turns, and the excitement that is Premier Rugby Sevens, the sports league taking over the US with some of the best athletes our sport had to offer. I'm Dallen, Stanford, former USA Sevens player and current World Rugby commentator.
And I'm MacDowell, former Canadian Sevens player and current international coach. Together, we'll bring you the latest PR Sevens news.
Welcome to your new home for Sevens Rugby.
Pinkelman waits for it, he takes it, does Ben Pinkelman, sets up on a run as a US Eagle. Pinkelman has got Hager with him, finds him now, stunning play! It's the home side, the Pittsburgh Steeltoes, that are right back in this game. They get their first try.
What a man, what an athlete. As we see here, Pinkelman says, I'll have that, thank you very much. Pins his ears back, takes on the last defender, and then links up with his speedster.
19-7 that shot. Remember, the winner goes through to DC. Can Pinkelman spark some more magic? Ben Pinkelman, good offload. Frees up Nicholas Smith, who's just cut down the boot shots. Wormer comes in for a line. Colorado native player finds the fade. Ball over the top. Hager breaks a couple of ankles, and then they're breaking hearts. Campbell Johnston slices in. The defense got cancelled like my flight yesterday, and the Steeltoes are in. 5 points in it now, with over 3 minutes to go. Pittsburgh fans have come out of their numbers as Pinkelman goes up. Pinkelman has it yet again. Big Ben fires it away to Smith. It's the momentum that stays with the home side. John Lefebvre on the right. Hager puts a kick in. Hager chases. Hager has this. Hager's as tough as hard candy, the kind that lines Dempster's pockets.
This game is far from over, but Hager just kicked the game plan to the curb and said, out the way, I'll do it myself.
And Hager to put this out.
Yes.
It's a day of high drama as the ball floats over the touchline. It's full time. The Pittsburgh Steeltoes, champagne rugby all day long. 21 points to 19. They came back from trailing 19-0 and have won it and are going to DC.
Dramatic finish, of course it was. That last 60 seconds was clinical. It was experience. And it was champagne for the home crowd who loved every single point that the Pittsburgh Steeltoes scored. Headliners for all money thought they were in for the win.
The crossfield to Manai Nuku, throws a dummy, makes it look all too easy. Nuku through the gap will get the first try in the final. And it's the Black Fern 7-star that opens the account for the New York locals. Looking for the line, beats a couple. Coffee on the outside. Gustaitis absorbs the hit, frees up. Scout cheeks for the corner. And that's the response. And it took a wave of attack, but the Southern headliners are over. There's a tackle, Gustaitis is there. Also works as a broadcaster, was with us last week. And here comes Nia Tapper, fresh legs, see you later. She's as dangerous as a pyramid scheme, is Nia Tapper. And the headliners take the lead. And they did it in Austin, Texas in the first tournament. They won 21-12. Penalty will be theirs, and they can tap this and kick it out and take the title and head with confidence to Washington, D.C. Harvey says, see you later, puts it into the stands, and they can celebrate another brilliant win. 12 points to 7, just the 5 points in it in the women's final. Harvey was outstanding, but it was a team effort in the end that got it done. Got a feel for the locals too, they put everything on the line. The defense was excellent, they just didn't have enough spark at the end to close it out. Another excellent final finishes in the Premier Rugby Sevens event here in Pittsburgh.
Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Rugby Sevens Rollercoaster, a North American-inspired podcast that focuses on the world of sevens. And it's a glorious world. What a barn burner we just witnessed in the Steel City as Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania hosted the PR Sevens Eastern Conference Finals at Highmark Stadium, a brilliant venue in downtown area. And in dramatic fashion, the home side, the Pittsburgh Steeltoes, won the men's competition, securing their place in the upcoming championship in DC alongside the Texas team. You couldn't have asked for a more exciting final, though, with the headliners leading 19-0, then conceding 21 consecutive points to go down to the Steeltoes. And on the women's side, the New York Locals and Headliners, who were finalists last time, resumed their battle in the final. Just one try separating them again. The Headliners winning 12-7, both teams locking a place in DC in August 6th. What a brilliant event, Robin.
Well, first of all, what a picturesque stadium. I was at home watching online, Dallen. You're obviously in the best seat in the house. And I'm really feeling like all 4 stops so far this season, the home crowd has really got behind their home sides. Steel Toe Town, they really got behind their women's and men's sides this past weekend. It was special seeing videos, pictures of all the fans, friends, and family that made it to Pittsburgh. One family, the Feesby family, farmers from Ontario, Canada, have a daughter in both the Steel Toe women's team and the Loonies women's team, Brooklyn and Kennedy. So the Feesby family, I didn't even recognize their head to toe. They had a yellow hard hat on. They had their busy vests on. They were just getting amongst it, had a great time. Unfortunately, Brooklyn won't be at the finals, but they'll be changing their costume for DC and cheering on their younger daughter, Kennedy, in the championships. Unfortunately, Dallen, yeah, they won't get to play each other, which your mom called me. She's like, "Why couldn't you pick both my daughters?" I said, "Well, this isn't a little league. I could only draft one of them."
It was so great. You're right. We actually even got our pitch side reporter, Brianna Kim, to interview them during one of the games. It was so great. They're wearing the full kit, and the merch sold out as well. So I love that. I couldn't even get a couple of kit items I was after, but I know fans can go to shop.pr7s.com to get that. And as you said, it was epic to be back in the booth for me personally, teaming up with a gold medalist Olympian, Rugby World Cup 7s at 15s winner, an absolute star, Ruby Tui, who had such a blast on the CBS broadcast. It went off like a frog in a sock. And Ruby even got her to sign a copy of her book straight up for me. What a sleek sensation. And then she put me on the spot because I asked her about the predictions, right, for the championship, particularly on the women's side, who's going to go through. And, of course, back your Loonies. So you got to produce, Robs.
More tattoos. I appreciate the love and support, and I definitely prefer Ruby on the mic than coaching against her. And no, you two together make such a great team, and you'd also make a great team on the field. She could make all your tackles and score all your tries.
Oh, easy. Just a 1-2 dish. And I'll do the commentary while she scores live play, so just close and personal. All right, I want to dive a bit deeper, of course, into the Eastern Conference matches we just witnessed. Let's go through first the men's competition and portion. Like we talk about close results and also big upsets. I think this is what stands apart from other tournaments is that, of course, you get different points for the different tournaments, which you mentioned. So a team that was ranked 3rd and 4th coming to this tournament could technically win it all and then go through to the championship. And that's what we saw. So let me go through results here. So very first game, Headliners surprised the Locals 24-21 in a dramatic game. And then the Steel Toes shocked the winners from Austin, Texas, the Texas team, 33 points to 5. That led to the Locals taking on the Texas team and winning this one 24-21. Alessio Nanduva was a man on fire, scoring a hat-trick of tries, putting his side through there in the 3rd place match. And then the Steel Toes that come from behind, down 19-0 to win 21-19 against the Headliners. You had to obviously feel for Tim Stanfield and his side, but for the Steel Toes, Ben Pinkelman was outstanding. So great to see him go. So many big names on display. Team of the tournament, we mentioned Alessio Nanduva, the Fijian flyer, Mr. Nitro. He was just electric. Ethan Hager from Canada has come out of your MacDowell Rugby program. He had a very, very special tournament. I expect to see big things from him. Kenny Jenkins, what's the frequency? Kenneth, the wing was on form, scorching the earth. Rhodes Featherston from the Texas side, the captain, the Kiwi. Also another great tournament for him. Of course, he was disappointed with his team's result, although they will go through to DC. Will Chevalier, the Eagle, was great, as was David Hightower, the sprinter. And then, of course, player of the tournament, Ben Pinkelman, who we chat on this episode.
Yeah, as always in Sevens, it's the tale of two halves. It was a Ben and Ethan show in the second half, one-way traffic in the final with a miracle finish. Ethan kicks off. Ben takes it in the air, clean ball, spin to win, try time. And then Ethan with the chip and chase. It was just so great to see, those two connecting. And that's one thing that we obviously highlight, you being an American and obviously me being a Canadian, highlighting, but these players getting to play together in an Olympic year. How cool is that? And, just all these connections we had last Sunday. We had Bianca Silva on the layover for 2 weeks up here in Canada training with us. So we had her with some Italian cooking at my mom's house this past Sunday, but her and the other Loonies flyer, Carissa Norston, they'll hopefully be battling at the Olympics next summer in Paris against each other, So you have all these connections that's going to build. And that's just the beautiful thing about the PR7s. And that's one thing I really loved, was just seeing all these different connections go off. And it was the first final really, Dallen, where the final really decided who booked their ticket to DC, whereas, most of the tickets were booked on the western side in the first game in San Jose, whereas this one, obviously, for the men was, it was winner take all. And again, gutted for Tim and his team, but great job to the hometown side there.
Bring up a good point. Number one, the storylines. We always love telling these and the PR7 showcasing players from around the globe. But you're right, the headliners had one that would have gone to DC. It's just such a fascinating game. Now, on the women's side of the competition, also, it was a nail-biter to start things out. The headliners being the Texas team 2019. 20 points to 90, 1 point separating the Texas team from getting into the final and potentially going through, but it wasn't to be. And then the locals battled the Steeltoes and won 22 points to 14. So that set up the Texas team in the third place game to continue their form, and they did get a good strong win against the Pittsburgh Steeltoes, 29 points to nothing. And then the final was a back and forth affair, 12 points to 7, just one try in it. The headliners taking out the locals again. But you felt that the New York locals could go with Stacey Waka, Manai Nuku on fire. You could go the distance. It could have won that. 14 points to 12 was very, very close in the end. Headliners hold on. Team of the tournament, so many good players again on display. Sarah Kaljuvie had another outstanding tournament. Elena Saili, brilliant. The Black Fern. Elena Olsen, the US Eagle, alongside Naya Tapper, brilliant. Abby Gustaitis, former captain as well, was on fire. And then, of course, we mentioned Stacey Walker, Manai Nuku. Those are the players that make up the dream team. Very tough to choose that. And then also the glue we found with the headliners was Jenn Salomon, and we chat to her in this episode. Great to get her insights as well.
Yeah, going back to that third place game, it was the same third place game earlier in Austin this summer in June, Dallen, and it was the other way. The Steeltoes stomped on the Texas team. So it was interesting to see the improvement that the Texas team, I know they had a few changes there, but it's good to see them win. And that was probably our biggest margin this past weekend. Again, it's going to be so tight next week. And in the finals, of course, the headliners truly lived up to their name. They're all headliners, like 1 to 12. It's ridiculous. Not looking forward to playing them, but what a star-studded team Coach Andrew Lockie has assembled this season. For the Eastern Finals, the locals added a third Blackfern, like you said, Tanika Willison. And with Waka in the sin bin, the headliners were just too much in the end.
Yeah, Willison had a fine tournament, you're right. But it was that yellow card that really, made them a bit more tired on D, because when they finally came up to 7, they were defending in their 22 the whole time. They did stop a lot of scores from the headliners, but it was too much. So now, Robin, the picture is clear. We have two events gone in the West, 2 in the East. They're done and dusted. We had 8 teams take part in the men's competition and 8 in the women's, with the top 4 heading to the nation's capital. Fans can watch the championship on the PR7's YouTube channel, with the third place matches and the finals on FS1 national television on August 6th from Audi Field in Washington, D.C. Paul Russell, the music chart topper, will be performing at halftime. It's going to be such a vibe. People can get their tickets at PR7s.com. So it's going to be absolutely brilliant. We do need to get on to prediction. We know the vibe is going to be fantastic, but Robin, remind us on the format for the championship. Who plays who and how does it work?
Well, first of all, I can't wait to get to Tate's Bakery in DC. And I got to say, my favorite stop in PR7s of 3 seasons has been Washington. So super excited that they picked that, the nation's capital for the big dance. Predictions for the East. For the men, the team will be taking on the Steeltoes. Depending on health and see who shows up in DC, I'm going to have to go with the team on this one. No disrespect to the Steeltoes. I just feel that the team was a bit upset here in Pittsburgh last weekend and be hungry for a win. Headliners, locals. I'm going to have to go with the headliners again. They've just been the 2 for 2 on the locals, but again, those Black Ferns Walker will be having those girls humming for the finals. But I'm going to tip the headliners. In the West, Dallen, Rhino X Loggerheads versus the Experts. Man, that's a tough one. Do I have to pick? Do I have to? I'm going to put that one on you, Dallen. What are your thoughts on that one? Gutless.
All right, now I'll go. I'm going to get my predictions later. You go first. Finish off the rest of them.
Jeez, this is brutal. I'm going to give you my prediction. It's going to go into extra time. That's my prediction on that one. I genuinely can't pick. JK and the Experts team, those guys know how to win, but with the legend Frankie putting together with Wanebi Temba and Bronco de Prius, like, come on, it's going to be epic. And then Experts Loonies, we all know the Loonies will be in the final. We're definitely hungry after the Experts upset us in the second half there. What I said, I think, to my players was that, It's always nice to win, but winning is doesn't make you as hungry, and we're definitely hungry. So it's going to be just pretty exciting. Just the best have fought through, and just looking forward to enjoying it. Now you're in the hot seat.
All right, harder to pick than a broken nose, but I'll give a couple of things. Okay, so without Ben Pinkelman for the Steeltoes on the men's side of things, I'm also going for the Texas team. They lost both games this past weekend, so they'll be very hungry with Rose Featherston leading the side to win there. So I think they will go through from that side, from the East. In the West, as you said, Rhinos ex-loggerheads against the Experts will go into extra time, will be so close. I'm actually tipping the Experts because overall balanced squad, I like what they bring to the table. Of course, you can't argue with Dupriera and Uwani Temba. Whoever they field, I think Wasia Nathunga will probably be back in as well, which is great. So I think that's going to be that one. If that is the case, then I think the winners will be the Experts, taking out the team in the final for the men's side of it. All right, for the women's side of things, the more you're talking about, and again, the headliners there are stacked, but I think the locals could come back and do it. They've met in 2 finals, they've lost both finals. I think they could surprise the headliners. So I'm going to go and throw something in the hat there. Say the Stacey Walker crew is going to go through and win that one, facing your Loonies in the final. Of course, we can't go against the Loonies, the Canadian sensations, with a Leverkelter ready to fire. So that's what I predict there, my friend. But before we crack on, I also want to thank our listeners and viewers for their amazing support, sharing us on the socials. Today's episode includes 2 standout players from the Eastern Conference we just witnessed. It's the Mexican international star of the headliners, Jenn Salomon, and USA Eagle Sevens legend Ben Pinkelman for the Steeltoes. Pure class.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan and just an overall, Sevens family, I'm just so happy to see Pinky back playing. It's so great. Obviously, he's gone into that space as a coach while he's been injured, like Disney story tale, winning in front of a home crowd with the Steeltoes, and then again, for all those players he's touched and been working with, like, that's super inspirational. And we'll see where he goes next. Hopefully, he recovers in time to be involved in the Olympic buildup, but. Just so nice to see him playing. So nice to, just to get that extra moment. Can you imagine, like, another moment to come back in your career and enjoy and lift up another trophy with your teammates. And then Jenn Salomon, let me tell you, like, she reached out to me right after I finished with Mexico back in 2018. She wanted to get involved. Her mother's Mexican, and she's an American-Mexican girl, similar to Carmen Macedo and a few other girls I looked at. And she's been part of their story for the past 4 or 5 years. She's been to Olympic Qualifiers. She's been recently to Central American Caribbean Games. And she's overall just an amazing ambassador for the sport in the PR Sevens. And we're lucky to have them both on today.
Yeah, we really are. All right, enough about us. We will see you on August 6th in Washington, D.C. PR7s.com is the new home for Sevens. Let us know who's going to win. Let us know who's going to win the women's final, who's going to win the men's final, which players should we watch out for, who's going to stand up and be counted. Of course, Robin's pointing to the Loonies there, but again, you don't have to pick Loonies. The schedule, the social links, everything you need will be online. Plus, you can watch the previous tournaments as well to catch up on the action. Thanks to the hydration partner, Good Sport, apparel partner, Samurai, and of course, the brilliant staff at the PR Sevens. It's time now for episode 9 of the Rugby Sevens Rollercoaster. It's Ben Pinkelman and Jenn Salomon. We hope you enjoy, you sleek sensations. All right, we thought Bigfoot was missing until Ben Pinkelman appeared out of the Colorado mountains. What a privilege to have one of the most successful USA Sevens forwards of our generation on the Rugby Sevens Rollercoaster. Big Ben, welcome, buddy.
Thanks, Dallen. Good to be here.
Great to be here. Listen, I know you had to pull over on the side of the road. You're in one of your big movable wagons, if you will, camping around. Took a couple of knocks as well recently, but I just want to quickly start. I saw you after the PR Sevens final in Pittsburgh. You were player of the tournament. Your team won. Unbelievable comeback. I never forget, I was giving you a quick congratulations, and you said your mother didn't even say congrats to you. She was laughing more at the reverse haircut commentary on yourself.
Yeah, that was the first text I read, was Dallen cracks me up so much. She loved you. She absolutely loves you. You make the game so much fun, and she lives for it.
Oh, well, listen, and whenever you're playing, it's such a pleasure, and we're so happy to have you back. So I wanted to touch on that. So remind us again, our listeners, when was your last game of international competition for the Eagles, and what kind of injury did you have that then let you stop playing for a while?
The last game of international competition would have been the Quest for Gold before the 2021 Olympics. I think that was like June of 2021. And then, yeah, my back injury knocked me out of rugby for quite a while.
And Ben, tell us a little bit about your rehab with your back and getting back to a place where you're able to play at this level again.
it was a lot of rest and recovery to start. It's probably like 6 months of just like letting my body recover and trying to start to feel normal again. Like I could feel all the tension and stuff leave like my neck and shoulders. I'm sure as a lot of rugby players do when they quit playing, it's like, oh, this is what actually being relaxed feels like. And then just starting to build back into it with a lot of core strengthening, a lot of acupuncture, a lot of things to loosen the muscles in the back, just kind of a lot of patience, just slowly doing those things every day to get my core strong and get my back looser, keeping the hamstrings loose, hips loose, kind of finding what works, what mattered, what didn't. And then once I started to feel a little more athletic again, just getting back into playing sports like basketball and things that I was comfortable with that weren't that much contact, and then eventually get back into the contact parts, which probably started about 3-4 months ago. But then my first game back, when I tried to play with on-back 15s, first carry, popped my shoulder out, AC joint separation. So then had to rehab that until I was able to get back into contact for the summer.
Amazing story and a true rugby warrior. We actually first met, you probably don't remember, but it was in Dubai, I don't know, 2018, 2019. I was working with a North American group, and he was obviously in the middle of the Dubai Sevens, Dallen with USA. And he came flying over, saw some of the young U18 USA boys, was giving them coaching tips, pumping them up, and he's in the middle of a World Series competition. So obviously you've had that natural passion for the game, and obviously as a coach and supporting the next generation. During your time while you've been injured and rehabbing and coming back, you spent a lot of time coaching. And how has that helped shape you now coming back to playing? And what was that experience like, and who were you working with?
Well, how it helps shape, I think coaching gives you a ton of empathy. That's probably one of the biggest things it does, is it just, you start to see things from every different perspective, and you start to understand all the different perspectives and all how much work it takes to make everything tick in the background. And so you start to have a lot more appreciation for all the people around you. You're tuned in with every player, and you kind of have to just appreciate them. I think one of the biggest things when we just won in Pittsburgh, one of the best things was just seeing how happy everyone else was, like just seeing all these guys succeed. And I don't think I would have noticed that or been as happy about it if I had just been playing the whole time. Because when you're playing is naturally very much, even though it's a team sport, you're very much focused on yourself. When you're coaching, you're very much focused on everyone else and just trying to support everyone else. So I think it gave me kind of a different perspective there. And it was a great experience. I mean, I think I learned a ton about myself. I think I learned a ton about what it would take to be an international coach, and a lot of good mentors around, and just trying to feed off each other and build and grow the USA Sevens into the next thing. Because, yeah, I am passionate about the younger generation getting better and trying to take advantage of what we have here.
Yeah, and I know people can follow Ben Pinkelman coaching as well. You put a lot of great clips up there also. Look, I've never been inside of a ruck, but now I know what it is like by watching your videos. So that's classic, Ben. Listen, I want to get into the PR7s because it's so exciting seeing you back on the field. What a great opportunity for you to get back to that level, as you said. And was that always the plan when you spoke to Mike Friday about getting back into the US? You'd play a bit this summer with the PR7s?
No, I mean, the plan was kind of like always in flow. Like it was always kind of like, because I didn't know how my back was going to respond to anything. I think it was in the back of both our minds that it was definitely a possibility. I think he probably knew a little more than I did that I wasn't ready to be done. But then it just kind of started coming back in probably like about 8 months ago, where I was like, I think I maybe can do this. And then I started training a bit and getting my feet in the water. Yeah, no, it was awesome. And I had worked with our coach in Denver, my old coach who coached me for U20s and was the Barbarians coach for a long time, Jason Kelly. And so I talked to him about it, and it was like this kind of perfect storm. An opportunity came together where I was like, yeah, this could be the perfect opportunity to jump back in with someone that I really trust and that I think is an excellent coach and can kind of get back on my feet while also helping each other.
What a thrilling competition this past weekend in Pittsburgh. Against all odds, you guys came back and won it all. So nobody ever thought, and on the Western side, both fourth place teams, for fourth place men, fourth place women, came through to win as well. And Sevens obviously is a roller coaster, just like our podcast. But the PR7s, I'm trying to explain to people, like, it's just another level of anxiety for coaching. Sevens is all like anybody can beat anybody. You think you're up by 4 tries, all that. But this league is just a whole other level. Can you talk us about that final and your guys' comeback?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, PR7s, you're right, it's freaking crazy, because it's like you don't know what's going to happen in a game, and all the games have been so tight. Like, I think there's been like 2 or 3 blowouts, but most have been 1-score games, and it is just chaos. But the final was epic. It was a roller coaster. It really is one play at a time, and I think we went in with a really good mindset of just kind of preaching that and taking it really slow. I don't think we were ever too worried or concerned, because I think we knew that we struggled with giving up kind of one-off tries, but once we got into like patterns of play, like 2+ phases, we've been playing really well. And their first 3 scores, the first one off the kickoff, they just take, then they score off a turnover first phase. And then I can't remember the third one right now, but it was similar. And I think we all kind of knew, like, if we just buckle down, we can definitely still win this. And then that play right before half to get a score was really big. Going down 2 scores in the halftime, not a big deal. And then, the second half momentum was just all on our side, and we were able to just ride it and then ride it out that last minute and finish the clock. And I think that's something that I brought. I think Ethan from Canada brought a lot of, is just composure, like composure in the moments that matter the most to make the play that will impact the game.
Yeah, Ben, I was going to say that, and for us, and as a broadcaster or as the viewers watching, you can't get a better final when a team goes up 19-0 and then concedes 21 points to go down. You got to feel for them, but again, your comeback was instrumental and amazing. It started with the restarts as well. You were epic in the air. Now, speaking of Ethan Hager, he was outstanding. He's a good example of a young up and coming player that will be on the series very soon. Then you've got the likes of like Mr. Nitro from Fiji, Alessia Nanduva, that was just cutting people to absolute shreds. He was more dangerous than climate change. So tell us a bit about what's it like, the blend of players coming in, and how good this competition is for Rugby North America.
Oh, it's huge for Rugby North America, especially spending my last couple of years doing the scouting stuff. Like, the more we can get these guys in, because it is those composure situations, the more we can get guys in high level pressure situations against good competition, that's how sevens will get better in the country. So for the country, it's huge. I think a lot of good mix of talent. I think we have some good young players that are probably not in the limelight, but could deserve to be and are kind of earning their way. Ethan's an incredible young player. I think he definitely will make it. He's got the right attitude. He believes in himself. He's going to be able to make it happen. But then, I think the sprinkle of having Nanduva out there and these guys that are just deadly, it adds that intensity that you'll get from some of the World Series all the time. So that's huge. That's a huge part of it. Is like, what was the headliner's center name from New Zealand, number 77?
Oh yeah, Kitione Vai. Yeah, Vai was fantastic as well. But also in that first tournament, I mean, even though his team didn't do a lot, he carved it up. He was so good.
That truck stick in the corner on their turnover try, like, that's like, I not to throw Campbell Johnstone under the bus, my boy Soups, but I was like ready for him to make that tackle, and then it's that big World Series moment of like, this guy's going to bring it every moment. And so I think it's really cool to see, and for guys to get to level a taste of that intensity that comes to every play.
I really enjoy watching Ethan play with you. He's one of the boys that I've had the pleasure of coaching. He's been in a lot of my pathway Canada teams throughout the years, and one of those families. I talk a lot with his dad. They actually came down from Ontario to support. He's just been knocking on the door, but since he's been involved, like, I think he first went on a Maple Leafs Development Canada tour to the South American stops in, he was probably 18 or 19 years old. There's been 3 or 4 national team coaches since he's come through at a young age. And so right when he's about to make it, there's been that transition. But now I think he's kicked the door in, and I think Sean White's finally listening. Well, not so much Whitey. Whitey's been a supporter, but I mean, like, I think the national team's finally listening. And but just that connection of that perfect restart he was putting up, and just, you guys just controlled the whole game. It was one-sided. It was the nicest sevens that I've seen in the East, and that's really what we want as coaches, commentators, and players and fans, is actually some nice sevens. Because in the West, there's been just a lot. In the men, it's just been a lot of smashing. So it was lovely to see you guys in form. You guys got to play at home in Pittsburgh. Was it super special, extra special to win at home in front of that steel toe home crowd?
For sure, man. It always is. It's always different. I think it's a game changer. You saw Austin won in Austin, and then we won in Pittsburgh, because when you have people cheering for you in a game that you're exhausted 4 minutes in, and then you hear people pushing you on and cheering for you, it pushes you an extra step further. So the home crowd always, I think, in a sevens adds a huge element. And I think it meant something to them. It looked like they had sold so much merchandise, so many Pittsburgh people wearing like Steeltoes gear in the crowd. I thought that was really cool to see, because maybe we weren't all from Pittsburgh, but we were trying to be a professional franchise that represents the city. And for them to get on board, I mean, it means a lot to us as players, and I hope it meant a lot to them as a community, because I know it's a great rugby community.
Yeah, and I love that stadium is right downtown, which is awesome. So you got everybody coming and milling around. And you're right, merch sold out so quickly. I couldn't even get a couple of items I was looking to grab, So I love that. Pinky, we know you got to go, but the last couple of quick questions for you. If you can think back and remember when, playing for USA in recent years, which favorite tournament would you list as your top one?
The one behind you. The one behind your background, Hong Kong.
There we go, sure. Hong Kong. Done. Easy. Okay, good.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
No doubt about it. Okay, great. I will say my favorite moment, though, is giving you a big hug after you won one of the Vegas Sevens tournaments as well. Obviously, winning an event is unbelievable, and you're part of a rare group to do that for the US. Let's talk about favorite players, okay, or tough players that you've played against, you have a lot of respect for. Could you name some players on the Sevens World Series that you really admire and have had good battles against?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll start with Werner Koch. That was definitely I loved battling against him. That was someone who I wanted to resemble my game after, just because of his relentless work rate, always looking for something to do and always bring the utmost intensity to everything he was involved in, never taking anything off. I think he was a phenomenal person to frame myself after and then battle against, test myself against. I mean, yeah, there's a lot, right? Jerry Tuai, I think, is just on another level. He was a different planet with how quick and strong he was and how well he saw the game. Some flyers that I played against that probably weren't as common on the Sevens World Series, or Vakatawa and then Gilius Kaka. I thought those two guys could have won any Sevens tournament across the world. France was a different team when they had Vakatawa in it, and New Zealand for Gilius Kaka for New Zealand made me look stupid so many times. Just unbelievable feat. And then the last one I'll throw out is is it Mateus? How do you say it? The ostrich for Argentina?
Oh, yes. Matthias Osatsuk?
Yeah, I think he's unbelievable. He's an unbelievable player that I think we have kind of similar games. He's probably a little more athletic than I ever was, but just incredible mind, incredible vision. Yeah.
And great hair as well,
Great hair. Crucial.
Exactly. Great selections. Thank you.
And what are some of your favorite teammates with Team USA? Obviously, there's probably almost all of them, but who are some of the guys that you really enjoy going to battle with?
Define favorite. Are we talking favorite ones to just be on the field with, or favorite ones to hang around with after?
Let's say top two on and off the field.
Okay, top two on the field. One's got to be Martin Yosefo. I think it all goes back to that kind of instincts and vision thing. He just always knew where to be and where the ball should go next. Probably put Flaunua in that same boat. His incredible vision. But second one, I'll go with Danny, just because the physicality was something that you definitely wanted on your side and did not want on the other side. And he would fight for any of his brothers. So I think it was huge having him on the field. And then off the field, I'll go with Kayvon and Perry. Those just are two great people, my boys, that I would love to hang out with anytime.
Oh, that's a good group. We should get that group together soon, We're probably going to meet up with some of them shortly. Listen, Pinky, we want to thank you for your time, buddy. And we know you'll probably be in a supporting role, coaching, who knows, at the PR Sevens Championship on August 6th in Washington, D.C. But of course, we know the fans were backing the Men of Steel from Pittsburgh. So good to have you on, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Dallen.
One of the electric PR7 standout players of the 2023 season, Mexican international and all-round lovely hot stepper of note, Jenn Salomon joins us now on the Rugby Sevens Rollercoaster. Thank you for your time, Jenn.
Thank you, Dallen, Robin. Happy to be here.
Well, firstly, I want to say congratulations on back-to-back wins this season, of course, with the Southern Headliners. Tell us a bit about what has been key to your team's consistency and over the last season as well.
Sure, absolutely. So I think it was interesting. The first stop, the first leg, and in Austin, we actually had a very different team. The three returning players, besides Elena and Naya, who had been in the first season of PR7s, was just Monique Coffey, Laura Herf, and then myself. So the team was a bit different. It was really cool that there are a lot of domestic grassroots players coming in, getting the opportunity. But our big focus in that tournament leading into Pittsburgh was that Coach Andrew Locke and Lauren Barber, they really selected everyone for a reason, and everyone's really good at what they do best. And it's always hard. Obviously, we all know it's always hard to bring people in for 3 days a week and try to get them together towards the same goal. But that was the focus. It's hey, everyone here you're good at what you do best. So make sure you focus on that according to the plan, because the game plan allows for you to do that and just express yourself and have fun. We were really able to build on that. We understood that the culture might have been different from last year, different players, but we had some key players that, we have like Lizzie Gibson was really big, the Canadian, on bringing everyone together and getting the hype, and same for her and everyone connecting on our off-field time. So I think that was really big into the first tournament. And the second tournament, we had even less time, but we had returners. So we had Grace Kukatai, Dejan Brown, Emma Farnan, and Abby Gustaitis, and those are already key players. They have experience. They know exactly what they need to do when they come in with everyone else from last year, and we just connected and built upon from the first leg. So we're hoping to continue that into DC. Team has so much talent, so much experience, but everyone's really selfless and everyone's really a team player. So I think that's really big and key, and we're all just backing each other to shine on the field and, be the biggest cheerleaders. So yeah, it's really good.
Well, when I saw you guys' roster for Pittsburgh, I was texting Lockie wow, that's a heck of a side, but you guys are winning with class and grace as well, which is something I really love. And you always lead by example. I told Dallen, you always have a smile on your face and are always loving the game, so that's great.
Thank you.
But Jenn, let's back up a little further. We first connected when you reached out to help you get involved with your Mexican heritage to pursue representing Mexico on the international stage. Myself, having worked with Mexico for 5 years, I just missed the opportunity to work with you.
I know.
But was very supportive and excited for more American Mexicans to get involved with Rugby Mexico as they move forward. Other players before you, like Carmen Macedo and a number of others that we brought in, and then to see you carry on, and now you've been there for 4 or 5 years in and out. You've been to Olympic qualifiers, you've been on World Series qualifiers, you've represented on the World Series, and most recently at the Central American and Caribbean Games in El Salvador, where you claimed silver. Previously, we'd only won 2 bronzes. So can you just share with our listeners what that experience has been like, getting in touch with your Mexican culture, which is like a whole experience on its own, and also just how proud you are to represent Mexico and play with your sisters?
Yeah. I remember texting you, reaching out, which is so funny. And in that moment in time, I reached out to you and just a few, I guess I didn't want to talk to any friends. They're more like mentors or coaches that could unbiasedly lead me in the right direction. But for my heritage, I grew up in a Mexican household, but I'm also Haitian. So my father's Haitian, but he lived in Mexico. He claims he's the only Mexican that doesn't like spice, which isn't true, but he's not Mexican. He's Haitian. But yeah, it's a real gift to my family, my mom, my uncles, my aunts, everyone that currently still lives in Mexico. Growing up, I went a lot to visit, but as I got older, got into sports, the summers were more to stay here and play than go see them. So once I made a decision to go represent Mexico, they loved it. It was a huge gift. They rally so hard behind me. The support is just immense. And it's really nice that when I do get to go into camp or go to Mexico, sometimes I'm able to make that trip to go see them, which is nice. And I feel like it brings me more connected with them than it did for a few years of my life, because, we're all here for a reason, dedicated your life to sport and the sacrifices that you have to make. So being able to represent my mother's culture, my family's culture, a culture that I grew up in, is really special to me. And playing with my sisters, I love that. It's cool. I played with so many different teams, but to be able to play with them and create a bond with them, they're family now. I've been to weddings. They're going to be, whenever I get married, to my weddings. It's really, really special. Not only, I remember when I joined, they're like, you have to speak Spanish here. It's really important in terms of conserving the language and culture. Don't expect that you can just come in here and speak English. And I already was fluent in Spanish, but that was a real difficulty for me when I first started playing over there. I was learning the game in Spanish. I was just oh, this is a bit strange, but I got with it. Our journey has been pretty interesting and incredible at the same time, very rewarding. Obviously, with Mexico, we are probably considered a tier 3 rugby country, and we don't have the resources It's getting better, but the resources and the experience overall than many other countries that we compete with when we go to the Challenger Series or even the World Series. But the girls have so much heart. They are warriors. We are able to come together and just fight. The really cool thing in the last year, we've grown so much. And for me, it's always sometimes a struggle to come from an environment like, for example, PR Sevens, or I played in England for a year and a half and then go into another environment, sometimes like Mexico, where the level might not be the same, etc. But what they do have is heart. And I'm really, really proud of how our team has grown in the last year. We played in the Challenger Series in last August in South America, and we played Colombia. We got smashed by Colombia. I think it was like 20-something to 0 or 5. And as you mentioned, the Central American games that occurred last month, it was a big lead up into that tournament, knowing that we were going to play them because we'll see them in the Pan Am Games in November. In our first day playing them, we tied 7-7. And then we played them in the final, and we got silver. Obviously, it's not the ideal, but it's still incredible to win silver. And they only beat us by 1 try, which was incredible compared to the 8-9 months before when we played them. And that for me is growth. The team sees that. And I think even though that growth is in a short time, but we were able to conquer and play at Colombia's level, who was invited to Langford, the World Series this past year, is a great step forward leading into Pan Am Games in November. And just, we have our Olympic qualifier in a month. So it's just good steps heading in that direction, which is positive for us, because I think we sometimes are like super, super hopeful, and the work might not be done as a collective. And then we show up, and then it's nothing that we imagined. It's more of like a heart-crushing experience. We're like, oh, we're almost there. But I feel like in the last year, we finally broke that like little glass ceiling that's there. It's like, okay, finally, we've made a step that way. What can we do next? Like, what's ahead? But obviously, the work has to be done. But yeah, it's really incredible. And whenever the time comes that I have to put my boots up, I know that I've made an impact, and my teammates have made an impact on not only on myself, but the things that we're doing for Rugby Mexico is pretty incredible as women in Mexico. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it really is. And I remember seeing you at the Fast Four tournament in Canada a few years back. It was great. Yeah, it was great to see you playing. And I remember your name from years before. And it's good to see, as you said, the great thing about Sevens, as we know, is, you know, with a bit of time together and a bit of resources, a team can really improve from leaps and bounds, which you've done. Where 15 aside, I feel like it takes years and years to build a team and build a culture and be able to compete at that national level. And you've done wonderful work with the Mexican side. And again, let's talk about the PR7. So how great for you, because you've been on the series, you played in the Challenger Series against star players. So tell us about that final. You're up against, Stacey Walker, Manaya Nuku, Tanika Willison, stuff like that. Was it a pretty cool pinch me moment where you're like, wow, I'm playing against these players and we're winning as well?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's one of those like, okay, it's a bit surreal, but we still have a job to do. So snap into it. It's game time, and then we can bask in the moment after. But yeah, I mean, these players are amazing. Watching them on the series and smashing it, and it's like, oh, you're gonna meet like all these stars that you've seen and admired, but also they're such amazing people. I actually met Tanika. I played with her in Dubai this last Dubai in the Invitational, and like to have her here and play against her now was really cool. And yeah, I think it's wonderful what PR Sevens is doing, bringing these world-class players into this tournament to obviously showcase their skill, and also be able, like players like myself that don't get that those experiences often, or just others that might not, to be able to share the pitch with them and learn from them. And even, for example, Hafa, she was just speaking with you 2 weeks ago with Bronco, and I'm at Rhinos too, but Hafa was my roommate for a few weeks, and just being able to sit with her and just like tap into her brain. She's trained with us. It was really cool to learn from them as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool, because I mean, in what other world would I ever play against like Stacey Waka or like low chance. But yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, there's so many great things about our sport. obviously the World Series and sharing hotels, flying together, eating together, all that stuff. And then the PR7s, I said last year, Lockie was my roommate for the first 2 stops, obviously played you guys in the finals last year. And then Surevi was my roommate last year. So like, it's just, I tell people it's another level, even above the World Series. We're actually like rooming with your opposition. Like that would never happen in hockey or basketball or base. Like you would never do that. And because of that, I got to know Lockie, and we've had good banter, and we've been supporting each other on either side of the conference. And it's just made the North American landscape and the global rugby landscape smaller is one thing I really love. And for me, genuinely, like I'm such a fan of all the coaches and all the players as well. So, it's been so fun to see again your progressions, or Isabella from Mexico. And I just want to give you, like, the Mexican team a shout out, that the women and the men, like, you are all, the Mexican Federation is doing a better job. Francisco did a great job for a number of years, and now Ernesto's taken to the next level at trying to find support and resources. But independently, you girls, like you said, you went to the UK, you're playing in this league. Isabella, are training at Rhinos. Like, everybody's going off. Vanessa Gasparin has gone to, Australia. So you guys are all just being resourceful amongst yourselves and then bringing that knowledge back, which is super inspirational. And you girls are finding a way to be successful. Now, last question from me. You're heading my way to beautiful Vancouver Island, Canada, later in August to compete at the Olympic Game qualifier. How is your women's team looking ahead of that competition, and what are some of your goals going into that qualifier?
I think for us, we knew that this year was really big in competition. So we had the Challenger Series in South Africa in April. We had Central American Games. We have RANS. We have Pan Am Games. We're looking at the qualifier. We're looking to get into that final against Canada. It's a round robin, but we can't sleep because we know Jamaica is just as strong. They proved that right in Central American Games when they beat us. Not again. But we're looking to be in that final with Canada and to showcase the work and the growth that we've had in this last year. It's a game of sevens. Anything can happen. Canada is very, very strong. And I know they have right now Australia, I think Hong Kong and Japan, and they're prepping really hard for the tournament. It's going to be difficult. Anything can happen. But for us, our long-term goal would be the Pan Am Games. So we're looking to use this qualifier as another stepping stone for growth to be ready for those Pan Am Games, because in Pan Am Games, we would love to be in that top 3. Again, it's going to be really difficult, but we've been working really hard. We've had more camps than ever this year. We also have, Ernesto has been doing a wonderful job. We have a new director of rugby, Terry. I always butcher his last name, Terry Barua, the former French 9.
Yeah, Terry Barahua, if you get really with your French. Yeah, great.
There you go. But he's also done a really incredible job in such a short time and getting the standard up and creating more camps and everything like that. So the girls have been working hard, doing their individual things that they need to do. So when we assemble on the 12th of August, we can just focus on what we need to do leading into that qualifier. So we're really excited. It's going to be difficult. We know that. We understand the gap that there is between Canada, US, and then Mexico and the Caribbean countries. But we're ready to just give it all we have and chase it and hopefully create some magic, which would be pretty incredible. So
well, we'll be cheering you on. So it's going to be so great. I just want to ask you one thing before we let you go. What do you do in your off time? I know you may have a teammate or two currently with you. So what happens, in your preparation? Do you get up to some fun stuff as well with your teammates?
Yeah. So in between these 2 weeks, I'm in New York. I live north of New York, but we went to the Yankee game. So they've never been to a Yankee game. It was a Subway Series. So Yankee versus Mets, city rivalry. And we'll do some touring at some point, more of the city. But right now it's recovery time and training time. We still have an objective next weekend in DC, and we've been sleeping a lot. So sleeping, we're training. My friend Andrew from childhood has a gym here, Apex, and he lets us use the gym for free, which is really nice. But yeah, just training, recovering, do a little touring. My mom's throwing me a birthday party tomorrow, so
that'll be brilliant. Fun. Well, happy birthday coming up. That's so great.
Thank you. So we're just relaxing, bonding a bit more, and just having a good old time. So yeah, nothing too crazy for the podcast, but
no, exactly. But it's great to get some insight from you, of course. Thank you for your time. Wishing you all the best for the finals, but not too much against Robin's side, of course, coming up in DC. We can't wait to see how it unfolds.
I don't know. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing both next weekend.
Awesome. Cheers, Jen. Thanks again.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Rugby Sevens Rollercoaster. Visit pr7s.com to buy tickets to the 5 tournaments in 2023.
Austin, Texas, June 17th.
Minneapolis, Minnesota, June 24th.
San Jose, California, July 15th.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, July 23.
And the PR Sevens Championship on August 6th.
Connect with us on social media at PR7s and watch any of the previous tournaments on the Premier Rugby Sevens YouTube channel. See you next time. You sleek sensations.